So, is the Sony BRAVIA Theater Quad bundle actually worth it, or is it just another pricey home theater set that only tech junkies will appreciate? I've been using the 48-inch A90K OLED paired with the HT-A9M2 16 speaker system for a few weeks now, and I thought I'd give you a straight-up rundown of how it performs in a real apartment. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the picture on that 48-inch OLED is unmistakably vibrant. The XR cognitive processor does a lot more than just upscale. It actually analyzes each frame and adjusts color, contrast, and motion in real time. What that translates to on the couch is a movie night where the reds in a sunset don't look washed out, and fast-moving action scenes stay crisp without the usual blur. It's the kind of thing you notice when you're binge-watching a series like The Crown and the crown jewels actually sparkle the way they should. Now, the sound side is where this bundle really tries to set itself apart. The 16-speaker system is arranged in a sort of 360-degree layout, 2 front left/right, 2 central, for rear, plus a couple of up-firing speakers for height effects. In practice that means when you watch a nature documentary and a flock of birds flies overhead, the audio follows their path. Even if you're just listening to a music track, the separation makes the instruments feel wider and more immersive than a typical soundbar. One of the practical benefits I've noticed most with this setup is the ease of connecting everything. The speakers are wireless and they pair automatically with the TV using Sony's proprietary system, so you're not wrestling with a tangle of cables behind the couch. I was able to hook my PlayStation, a streaming stick, and my laptop all through the TV's HDMI inputs, and the sound automatically routed to the proper speakers based on what I was watching. When I switch from a game to a movie, the system recalibrates without me having to dig into menus. Gaming gets a boost too. Because the HT-A9M2 supports Dolby Atmos, any game that's coded for it, like Elden Ring or Call of Duty, delivers positional audio that helps you locate enemies or feel the size of a battlefield. I found myself reacting faster to footstep cues coming from behind, which is a subtle but noticeable advantage. It's not just about loudness, it's about clarity and direction, which is something you rarely get from a regular TV speaker set. If you're into sports, the bundle does something interesting with crowd noise. The up-firing speakers add a sense of overhead ambience, making you feel like the roar is coming from the stadium's ceiling rather than flat speakers stuck at ear level. Watching a soccer match in the living room, the crowd's cheers seem to swell around you, and the commentary stays centered, making for a more natural listening experience. Another perk is voice control. The TV's built-in Google Assistant and Alexa compatibility mean you can ask for the weather, change the volume, or switch inputs without touching a remote. I found myself saying, "Hey Google, switch to Netflix," while the TV automatically starts the app and pulls up the last watched show. It's the sort of convenience that feels futuristic without being gimmicky. Design-wise, the OLED is truly sleek, thin enough to sit almost flush on a wall, and the speakers blend into a low-profile cabinet that doesn't dominate the room. The whole thing looks like a piece of modern furniture rather than a bulky entertainment center. It's a subtle aesthetic advantage for anyone who cares about how their living space looks. Now, let's talk about what really matters when you're deciding whether to spend a chunk of change on this package. In my experience, the biggest plus is the cohesive integration. Because Sony built both the TV and the speakers, they talk to each other seamlessly, and the cognitive processor's picture tweaks pair nicely with the adaptive sound calibrations. You end up with a system that feels like one solid unit rather than a TV plus an aftermarket sound system you have to fiddle with. The picture quality is another clear win. The OLED's true blacks and wide color gamut make HDR content look exactly how creators intended. Finally, the spatial sound envelope, whether you're watching movies, gaming, or just streaming music, adds an extra layer of immersion that most flat-panel TVs simply can't match. On the flip side, the price point is definitely steep. You're essentially buying a high-end OLED TV and a premium home theater setup in one go, so the total cost can push you into the four-figure range. If you're on a tighter budget, you might get a decent TV and a separate sound.